Why is vacuum testing so important? And what turns this billet converter, this wonderful golden bronze color? Let's go ahead and talk. This particular E4OD 4R100 converter is a CVC, and they come painted this gray or silver color. This converter is now bronze because it got so hot. So let's go in the build room and let me show you guys what caused this and how we can stop it happening to our transmission, because that is a proper rebuild. If we turn our vacuum pump on, first thing we want to do is calibrate. So we have 5 inch-pounds of vacuum. Simply plug the port on the side, and we now have 25 inch-pounds. And we know that our vacuum system is calibrated in order to properly test. Now the single location here that we're going to test for this particular demonstration is the very end of the pressure regulator. So let's go ahead and test that and see what kind of number we come up with. So we'll put our gasket down, apply our test plate, we get about 5.5 inch-pounds of vacuum. Virtually no vacuum at all. So let's take a look at the hydraulic circuit and see if I can explain to you guys why it is so critical. Now before I get too far ahead of myself, the recommended amount of vacuum on that particular valve, and they are different across the board, so on an E4OD when you're checking that specific valve, it is recommended that you have 16 to 18 inches of vacuum. Now if we look at the important areas that we need to vacuum test at the main regulator valve, we will see that the complaints are engine stall on engagement, engine stumble on engagement in reverse, high line pressure, and overheated converter. Where does that overheated converter come from? Well, that comes from converter charge, having nothing to do with TCC apply, just how much charge oil is in the converter in order to spin that input shaft. That converter didn't get hot because of a lockup problem. That converter got hot because of a converter charge problem. When we look at our TCC release and TCC apply, we can see that this green area is our converter charge. And then when we move to that same area during apply, it becomes converter regulated pressure. Charge oil during the TCC apply is not as important because it is direct drive, so we can use less oil charging the converter. However, if there is a limited amount of oil coming off from that pressure regulator feeding that charge oil for the converter, well, now you overheat the converter and it ends up just like the one that we have out there. On this particular pump, guys, you would have to ream that pressure regulator valve line up and put in an oversized valve. If you were somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe 10, 12 inches of vacuum, then you may be able to use a drop-in valve like a Transgo or like a zip kit from Sonics or something of that nature. That particular pump is too far gone, and those tend to be the only two options that we have in order to straighten valve lineups. Have a good day, guys.